Welcome to Reasonable Doubts, your skeptical guide to religion.
Welcome to Reasonable Doubts, the radio show and podcast for those who won't just take things on faith. Coming to you from Grand Rapids, Michigan, the clasp on America's Bible bra. You can find us online at www.doubtcast.org, or those of you in West Michigan can listen to us on Public Reality Radio. That's WPRR Ada Grand Rapids and W237CZ in Hudsonville. That's right, because we got the short end of the stick on call letters. W237CZ. My name is Dave Fletcher. With me in the studio are my fellow Doubtcasters, Jeremy Bean.
Yellow.
And Dr. Professor Luke Galen.
So where's the underwire support in America's Bible bra?
All right, I'm not even going there. Coming up in the show, we have an interview with Tim Callahan from Skeptic Magazine.
Yes, the religion editor of Skeptic Magazine.
But first, here's a clip from Ryan Sorba. Ryan Sorba from the Young Americans for Freedom speaking at CPAC, the big conservative conference.
Ryan is upset because CPAC actually invited a group of Republican homosexuals to play a role at the CPAC conference.
I'd like to condemn CPAC for bringing Go Pride to this event. Bring it. Bring it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Guess what? Guess what? All right? Guess what? Civil rights are grounded in natural rights. Natural rights are grounded in human nature. Human nature is a rational substance in relationship. The intelligible end of the reproductive act is reproduction. Do you understand that? Civil rights, when they conflict with natural rights, are contrary. Now you sit down. The lesbians at Smith College protest better than you do. The lesbians at Smith College protest better than you do. All right? Bring it. Yeah, Yal is my enemy. Jeff Frazee, guess what? You just made an enemy out of me, buddy. Yeah, you.
I guess even right-wing conservative frat boys can memorize a few lines of Aquinas.
You just made the list, pal. It just reminded me of Stripes.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, you just made the list, pal. Lighten up, Ryan.
Yeah, this is about the tenor of a lot of the discussion at CPAC, from what I've gathered.
Actually, I thought this made CPAC look good in a strange way because they were booing him off the stage.
That's right. That's right.
But I thought we should bring this up just because of how much that sounded like Robert P. George, who we talked about earlier on the show. I think to a lot of people hearing that clip, they were going, what? What is he breaking into this philosophy speak? But anybody who's listened to episode 61, where we take apart Robert P. George's claims, you know, that natural law thinking is going to be recognizable instantly.
Yeah, and it's interesting because a lot of the response we got to that episode was people just saying, George's arguments are absolutely ludicrous.
Which they are.
Which they are. But you can see when you listen to folks like Ryan Sorba here just how prevalent they are.
It provides an intellectual veneer for people to justify their more gut instinct revulsion against certain things.
We did get several listener comments about that episode. In fact, what I thought was interesting is we even had a few people who had taken classes at Princeton with George. Each person seemed very impressed with him as a teacher, with him as an individual, and shocked and horrified to hear that he would really back up his beliefs that way, with that type of argument that he uses to justify his stance on gay marriage.
Right.
I think there are a lot of people who have a lot of respect for this guy as an intellectual, just think he goes off the rails on this and some other issues. But we also had another email from a listener. He begins his comment by saying, "First, let me tell you that I'm a third-year law student. My best friend is a third-year law student, so I know that whatever is going to follow that sentence is going to make me wince. But he says, you're completely wrong in your assertion that Justice Scalia believes in natural law. or uses it in his opinions. In fact, he argues just the opposite. He believes that in interpreting the Constitution, one should look to the original understanding of the founding generation. This is called originalism.
Right.
He does not look towards nature. He would be appalled at the assertion. This is obviously a reference to, at the end of that episode with Robert P. George, we were trying to reaffirm once again why it's important to take on these arguments. And we said, he has a lot of influence in the conservative movement, and he has a lot of influence amongst judges in particular. He is a professor of jurisprudence. And I mentioned he has Scalia's ear, was the exact comment that I made. I think Luke said something about his Catholic background. You can almost guess what his decisions are going to be before they even happen.
Right.
That was about the extent of what we said of Scalia. But after this listener's comment, I looked it up some more, and he's absolutely right. There is a debate in some legal circles over whether or not a judge ever has the right to appeal directly to natural law in any sort of circumstance. And even though Scalia comes to the same conclusion on many social issues as Robert P. George, Scalia is very much of the mind that natural law justifications don't fly in good legal reasoning. And so I guess we shouldn't be making associations there. But I do think our more simpler claim that there is influence between the two, I think
certainly.
One could still defend that. But I am thankful to the anonymous listener for sharing that with us. He was right. And
the broader influence
of
Catholicism on the Supreme Court, because we have, is it 5
Very true.
justices now or 4? Whether you consider Sotomayor.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think there's 5 of them.
Thomas, Roberts,
Scalia,
Alito,
yeah,
Kennedy.
Yeah, there you go.
Thomas is Catholic?
Okay, we're going to get ourselves in trouble with the Supreme Court.
We're going to have to fact check
Yeah,
this, or
we'll
we're going to
future
get more
episode.
lawyers.
I must tell you to cease and desist reasonable doubts before you're...
Regardless,
we have a federal judge who's a big fan of
We
the
do,
show.
actually.
Yeah, we should probably have him on and just to tell us how
Why are
often
those
we
cops
screw up our legal.
There's a bunch of cops pulling up in the parking lot. Does somebody...
pay no attention.
Okay.